hit and killed while crossing I-94 this morning in Romulus. She was looking for help for her father, who was involved in an alleged drunk driving crash.
And tonight, the girl's mother is grieving the loss of her little daughter. Jessica is here now with this incredibly terrible story, Jessica.
Yeah, it's absolutely heartbreaking. You can imagine how scared 7-year-old Sandra must have been. In the middle of the night along I-94, she was trying to get help for her father, but before police could find the little girl, it was too late.
It's going to be a major void that will never be filled. It will never be filled.
A grieving mother realizing her 7-year-old daughter, Sandra Thomas, won't be coming home.
Anybody she touched, she was a blessing to.
Sandria Burtz was at work Sunday morning when police delivered the news that her daughter was killed along I-94, hit by a driver. It happened after her father, who was suspected to be driving drunk, hit an abandoned vehicle near Merriman around 3:30 in the morning.
They say my daughter tried to save her father.
Sandra thought her father had died. She used a cell phone to text message 911, but couldn't call. Police couldn't find her even after pinging the cell phone. It wasn't until a 911 call came in a short time later, a woman driving in the area told police she hit someone on the highway. It was Sandra.
It's straight emptiness. We're in shock. But I know God. God is good. He the only one that's going to be able to bring me and my family through this.
Sandria didn't want to comment on reports that her ex-husband had been drinking when he crashed. He is in police custody with charges pending. She wants to focus on her daughter's life that was cut way too short.
She was a beautiful thing. She was on her way to the 3rd grade. She was 7 years old.
Sandria tells us she waited 20 years to have her daughter.
They told me I could not have no kids. I became a foster parent. I later on adopted my older 2 children, and I got pregnant with Sandra.
She wants people to remember Sandra as strong and brave.
I love her, and I miss her so much.
And that family so gracious for talking with us tonight. And the woman that did hit Sandra, she was questioned by police, but then later released. No charges expected, but we are waiting on charges for Sandra's dad.
This is such a terribly sad situation, especially considering she was trying to get help.
Right, and she just, confused. It's dark. I mean, but brave little girl for trying.
Yeah. And that woman, she's going to have to live with that for the rest of her life.
A lot of ripple effect.
YouTube, what's going on? Trey back again, hit you with a video. Now this story right here comes out of Michigan. Very sad story where we have a 7-year-old girl whose dad decides to drink and drive. And one thing I advise people don't do, don't get high and drive, and don't drink and drive, because number one, it's bad for your safety and it's bad for other people lives that's on the road also. Just because you want to get drunk or high does not mean that you have the right to go and take somebody else's life or put their lives in jeopardy, and also your own children. You have to take in consideration also. And if you don't have enough self-control and enough self-restraint to restrain yourself from drinking alcoholic beverages or indulging in drugs and trying to drive, best believe you're asking for trouble, and trouble will happen, just like in this case right here. But we have a dad who decides to drink and drive and gets drunk and have a crash. Now, that's not the end of the story, because most people are like, well, did they die at the crash? No. The dad was hurt, seriously hurt, and the daughter, miraculously wasn't that hurt. She decides to do what she was taught. And you know how we teach our children, if something happens, dial 911. She tries to dial 911 for help, and she gets out the car, walk down the road trying to flag somebody down to basically help her father. She's basically trying to save her dad's life, just like a daddy's little girl should, just like a angel would come and help you, because that's really what she was right then. She was trying to save his life. Who knows how long he would have lasted. But at the same time, she was struck and killed by a vehicle. Now, I don't know how far she was in the road. I don't know if she was in the middle or the median or whatnot. But at the same time, it goes to show you the kind of heart that she had, that she would put her own life on the line at 7 years old in the middle of the night trying to save her father, only to have her life taken. And the dad miraculously survived. But one thing before I start this story, isn't it strange that the people who are driving and causing this type of accidents and whatnot, what is done on purpose or unintentional, they always survive, but it would be the other person that gets killed? That's a sad situation. Let's go and start. Now, beautiful 7-year-old killed as she was trying to help her father, who was drunk. Sandra Thomas was an adorable 7-year-old girl who had a heart of gold. Early Sunday morning, Thomas was spending time with her dad when they were involved in an accident. Believing that her dad was hurt, Sandra tried to get some help. While trying to help her dad survive, Thomas lost her life due to somebody else hitting her. I don't know how this person, unless she was just going real fast, unless she just popped out the middle of the woods, how can you not see somebody? Because the way your car lights, and I'm sure people had their bright lights on, even if even if they didn't have the bright lights on, you still should be able to see somebody unless it's real foggy. Now foggy, I understand, but I don't understand all these times how people just get hit. I don't understand it. Couldn't you see them, or couldn't you veer off? I know somebody gonna say, well, I'm not gonna try to lose my life. I understand it also, but at the same time, I find it very strange how some of these accidents happen. Not saying necessarily this story, but other stories where you have people just walking down the road trying to receive help, and they end up getting their life taken. They be like, well, this person wouldn't even buy the road, so the vehicle. Not saying in this case, remember, some vehicle just swear off the road and hit them. Like, damn, what y'all playing bumper cars? Let's go and continue. Now, around 3:30 Sunday morning, 3:30, 7-year-old Sandra Thomas was in the car with her father in Romulus, Michigan. It's unclear where they were headed at the time of the morning, but the father and daughter were traveling along in the freeway. According to Fox 2 News, Sandra Thomas and her father were involved in a car crash. Police officers believe that her father was drunk as he was driving the freeway. He reportedly crashed into an abandoned vehicle, so somebody must have left the damn car on side of the road. You know how people run out of gas, or some of these cheap ass cars or whatnot, they done broke down and stuff, or some of these old ghetto ass cars that have rims cost more than the car, they break down and done hit a car probably just left on the median. Sometimes people just leave their car right there, and if you're not watching, you're going to hit it. So it's not like he swerved off the damn road, flipped the car 3 times, then hit something. No, something was in the way of oncoming traffic. The vehicle was right there, basically abandoned for whatever reason we don't know yet. But anyway, now, as he was driving along the freeway, he reportedly crashed into an abandoned vehicle. Little Sandra believed that her father was dead, and she was trying to get him some help. Someone had taught her to call 911 if someone is hurt, and that's what she tried to do. And that's why it's important for you to teach your children certain things to do. So, and just in case that time comes, which most likely living in America is going to come at least one time or another. It might not come in the shape, in the form of a car crash. It might come in a heart attack. It might come just somebody whooping your ass. You never know. I'm not saying that to be funny, but at the same time, you never know when you're going to need some damn help or some backup. So teach your children how to call 911, especially for those of you who all go around starting shit, because you're going to need your child to call 911. You don't need to be getting them paws dropped on you and you telling your baby to dial 911. They dial 877. Let's continue. Now, Michigan State Police Officer Lieutenant Mike Shaw told Fox 2 News that Sandra Thomas discovered that her dad was unconscious behind the wheel. After hitting the abandoned car, in an effort to save her dad, Sandra Thomas did what she thought was right and texted 911 to the dispatcher, as she was unable to call them. Police officers were trying to find Sandra and her dad, but they had trouble locating them. So what you do then, you have to ping the call off the cell phone tower. That's what they do. That's how they find these phones. That's how they find these killers too. If you go watch another 48 hours, they'll get the cell phone, because just because that phone may be off, if you got that battery in there, and some of them, they have a backup little source in there, little generator capacitor, whatnot, because that's how the law enforcement or other people know your location, because it pings off the cell phone, whether your battery in there or not. I mean, whether it's cut on or not, as long as the battery in there. But like I said, some phones have it now. Even if you take the battery out, they still have a silent ping, because a lot of people kind of help. You know what I'm saying? When they're going to do things they weren't supposed to, they'll take the battery out, not realizing it's a backup capacitor, a little small generator in there, whether it's micro or not. And they still wind up getting caught, because they wonder how in the hell did they know that they was in such an area. Well, how did your cell phone get here? We got the ping off the cell towers. Anyway, now you learn something. Now, tragically, police officers received another call from an unknown woman informing police officers that she had hit someone. The woman had hit Sandra. Sandra was trying to get help for her father when she attempted to cross the freeway and was hit by an oncoming driver. The driver must have been speeding his ass off, because I'm sure this little girl, being in the mind that she was in, being in save mode, and our senses get heightened and everything else. You might think I'm playing or whatever, but those who know what I'm talking about. You know how when shit about to go down, or shit already down, all your senses and stuff, you know what I'm saying, you get like a keen sense, like a damn dog. You can like hear better, you can see better, you can smell better. You'll be amazed how much your senses magnify under these conditions. So I'm pretty sure she was aware of her surroundings or whatnot. But at the same time, how did the vehicle and her not seeing the vehicle with the lights on, was the lights on the vehicle? Was the vehicle going super fast or whatnot? Did the vehicle swerve over to hit her just like I just said in other cases? Man. Now, the poor child, 7-year-old, doesn't get to live the rest of her life because of a decision that an adult made, the decision her dad made. And it was a domino effect to her losing her life, trying to save him. If she would have stayed in the car, she would have still been alive today. But who's to say if he wouldn't have died? So the child was basically trying to do what the father should have did, was save the life. Now, Michigan State Police Lieutenant Mike Shaw said the adult, the 7-year-old father who decided to get into his car at around 3:30 Sunday morning and drive drunk on the highway, he had struck an abandoned vehicle on I-94 right there near Merriam, lost control and went off the roadway, Shaw said. Now, Sandra Burtz, the mother of Sandra Thomas, was at work when she received a call that no parent ever wants to hear. Burtz learned that her daughter was fatally hit by a car as she was trying to save her father's life. Burtz told Click on Detroit that DeSandra and her dad had attended a family baby shower earlier. DeSandra's father shared parental custody with her mom, Sandra Burtz. She was a beautiful thing. She was on her way to the 3rd grade. Just the 3rd grade. Smart girl. She was 7 years old. She would give you the shirt off her back. She was so helpful, Burtz said. Who's to know what this child would have grown up to be? The child would probably have grown up to be a lawyer, a doctor. Not probably would have grown up to be a lawyer, a doctor, some humanitarian, somebody that have a noble, great cause. Could have, you know what I'm saying, came up with a cure for cancer, stuff like that. You know, it may sound far-fetched and funny just because your imagination or your creativity is limited in certain areas does not mean someone cannot wish well on somebody else. So when I say those things that I would aspire for my own child to be, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it just because it's somebody else's child. Those things that you should want for each and every child to be the best that they could be. Now, for Burtz, DeSandra was her miracle baby, as she believed that she couldn't have children, like a lot of us do. Doctors told Burtz that she would be unable to have her own child, so she chose to adopt. After 20 years, God blessed Burtz with DeSandra, after she had already been a foster mother to 2 children. Burtz told Fox 2 News that is rejoicing and celebrating her daughter's life as she was brave and strong. And that's what you want to remember them by. Also, it's going to hurt the fact you know how they died, but it's the fact you want to celebrate them and how they live their life. Even those of us who's a little older and those of us who's way older, you know, that's what the life is about. You should celebrate that person's life on how they live their life. If they was a good person, hey, it's all good. But if you're a bad person, you know, somebody might miss you, whatever else. But at the same time, celebrate your life and do it while you can. You know what I'm saying? Like the old saying, give me my flowers while I'm here, while I can smell it. Don't wait till I'm gone. Give me my praise, my due while I'm here. Now, despite the fact that Burtz is heartbroken over her daughter's death, she does not want her daughter's father to face charges. Now, most women would like, forget that. I want his ass buried under the jail. He is no good. He is this, he is that. But she said she don't want nothing to happen to this guy. Now, the mom said he has to live the rest of his life knowing that his daughter is not here anymore, Sandra Burtz had said. So him doing jail time, that's not going to do him any harm. Maybe he can do an outreach program and talk to people and tell them how important it is to not drink. The charge is when he wakes up and not seeing his baby anymore. And that makes perfect sense because, you know, that's the charge right there. You know, you made the decision. Your daughter tried to go get help and she lost her life in hopes of trying to save your life. Now, she says also, no, I don't want him charged. I hope that they don't charge him. That's torture enough. Nobody should have to live with the fact that their baby is gone. I want him to be able to talk to people because you never know how many lives he'll be able to save by telling his story. And this is one of the first stories I heard a woman who says that she don't want her husband, her child father locked up. I wish Lil Boosie and his baby mama, Rochelle Wagner, can get to this point right here, but evidently they way past that point. But at the same time, it's amazing that she still don't wish any bad on this man, even if she do, she didn't say it out loud, so that's all that matters. That's all we can go on. Now, police say the female driver of the car that hit Thomas was questioned by police, but later released. Lieutenant Shaw says they don't expect her to be charged. A GoFundMe page was created to help with the Sandra Thomas burial costs. And if you all can help with that also, I'm going to donate also. And for those of you who got a little extra dollar too that you can spare to this angel, Mr. Sandra cause, you know what I'm saying, please do so also, because that could have been our child. And put yourself in this child. shoes also. What if that was your mom or dad or whatnot? No matter what they're done, because you still gonna love your parents. Just like a lot of us probably didn't have. Well, I ain't gonna say a lot of us because people get mad when I say that. But some of us might not have parents who were just too good or too perfect. But at the same time, you still love and respect them because that's your parents. So who's to say if that was us, we wouldn't have done the same thing? And also, when you want somebody to help with your burial, because you know that's just the way it is. You know, when you want somebody to help. And that's one thing that we can learn from these stories also. It's not the age of the person. It's not the sex of the person. No, it's the heart of the person. It's the heart of the person. This little girl could have did like any other little girl did, bawled out crying. Nah, but she chose to stand up and take the lead at 7 years old and try to save her dad's life, only to lose her own life. But she would get rewarded in the next life for that also. Let me know what you all think about this video. If you like the video, push that like button. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Definitely share the video with your people who like to drink and drive. And also, if you got a child, hug your child, kiss your child, tell your child you love them. And also, teach them about 911. Teach them the proper procedure of these accidents, because you never know. You never know when it's going to be time you may need it. I'm out.